Hi, my name is George Mungai, and today I'm going to be talking about the interpersonal communication with nonverbal communication. And we're going to look at the three types of nonverbal communication, but also the four ways that people react or cope with nonverbal communication. And to be able to help us understand nonverbal communication, we are going to look at an incident that happened in the FIFA Olympics in 2006 between the French captain Zinedine Zidane and his rival from Italy, the man by the name Marco Materazzi. And as we start off, one of the things that we would really want to look at and understand is the theories of the concepts of nonverbal communication. The first one is body movement, also known as kinesics, and in this type of nonverbal communication, body movement is used to send messages. This could be messages of openness or being defensive. It could be messages of flight or fight. It could be aggressive movements. It could also be body movements to show curiosity, or but also to show fear, also to show happiness. Secondly, the other nonverbal communication is the haptics, and this is the touch or using touch as a way of nonverbal communication. Touch could be used to show affection, but also to show aggression. It can also be used as a response to anger, or as a response to love, or a response to care and concern. Another one is proxemics. Proxemics is the study of communication as related to distance. There are four levels of distances. There is the intimate distance, there is the personal space, there is private space, but also there is public space. So when we are looking at the levels of social distancing, these ones could be used to show, coziness, but also fear. And when personal space, for example, is entered, somebody might wonder and fear, especially if it is a stranger they're dealing with. So those are the three forms of nonverbal communication: body language, or body movement; haptics, which is touch; but also prognostics, which is the study of uh, as distance, space and distance, as it relates to nonverbal communication. So back to our story with Zinedine Zidane. So it is the 110th minute in this soccer play, and Zinedine Zidane suddenly turns towards Materazzi, lowers his head, and headbutts Materazzi. Materazzi raises his hands in a defensive posture and then falls backward in surprise and just in a desire to escalate. So the facial expression that Zinedine shows by head batting Materazzi shows a dramatic concentration of anger, and he perceived Materazzi as an opponent or a threat. So there was provocation by Materazzi. So the touch, when Materazzi pulled on Zinedine's jersey, it was to signify confrontation or even disrespect. And this is a non-verbal communication touch that was used in this case to show provocation or disrespect. But again, Zinedine turns back and and headbutts Materazzi as as a response to it, and this response is one of anger and also to show dominance over Materazzi. So in response, Zinedine reacts with anger, and the facial expression and the body language, and closes the gap between them from a personal space to an intimate space where he headbutts Maturezi. Now, there are concepts that we can learn from this event. One is the concept of competing. This is a win-lose approach in a conflict. Both Maturezi and Zidane looked at this conflict as one that is win or lose. So when Maturezi expresses confrontation by pulling on Zidane's shirt, Zidane reacts back by headbutting him, asserting himself as the authority or asserting his dominance over him. The other theory that we can evaluate in this situation is one of avoidance. Avoidance is whereby both parties kind of take a passive role, and it is a lose-lose situation for both. We don't see that here. We don't see Maturezi being passive or withdrawing, or Zinedine Zidane being passive or withdrawing from it. So none of them practice avoidance. Then there's the theory of emotional expression, and emotional expression is using of emotional expression to show emotional intelligence and ability to understand the extent and the power and the force to react to when one is confronted by a non-verbal communication that is either causes them to be angry or causes them to be defensive. So Materezi does pull on Zinedine's shirt, but Zinedine overreacts in this case by headbutting him. So he reacts in an excessive manner and does not show emotional intelligence. And lastly, the other theory is emotional contagion. Emotional contagion suggests that emotions can be transferred from one person to another. For example, if you went to a place and people were mourning, it is transferable. You all of a sudden feel sad. Or you go to a place where people are partying, and all of a sudden your spirits are high, and there is emotional contagion. In this case, Materezi action that with a confrontation one, it becomes contagious on Zidane, who reacts and is triggered and elicits strong reaction against Materezi. In conclusion, it is then seen that communication can be very important and impactful, and verbal communication, especially in high pressure scenarios, can cause great damage, especially when emotions are running high. It also shows that nonverbal communication always can often overshadow verbal communication. When there is a disconnect or a discordance between nonverbal and verbal communication, usually the nonverbal communication is taken to be the truth. And in this case, the nonverbal communication becomes the actual communication in that situation. Thank you so much, and God bless you.